Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, as you all probably know by now, Season 2 of Halo Infinite is out. And with that update, a lot of new stuff was added to Halo Infinite. A lot of new content, actually. New cosmetics, weapon attachments and stuff like that, skins, as well as new game types. And to 343's credit, some of these game types are actually kind of fun. I know some people have a lot of criticisms about Last Spartan Standing, but I personally, I enjoy it. It's not bad. There are also a couple of new interesting maps as well. But anyways, with that update, before we get to today's main topic, let's go back to 2015, 2016, 343, where on Halo 5, there was a glitch discovered in Forge that lets you basically swap projectiles of weapons in Forge, and you can make some pretty crazy weapon combos like that. And it was a fun glitch, and 343 did consider patching it, but they decided to keep it in because it was fun, and the community loved it, and it wasn't game-breaking either. And to 343's credit, they did add some fun stuff in the Season 2 update. Like in the loot caves in some BTB maps like Fragmentation, they now have the campaign upgraded weapons available in a multiplayer map, and it's actually pretty cool, and the weapons can change as well, and there's some pretty OP ones there too. But despite that, 343 did remove a lot of fun stuff that the entire community likes, and most of it wasn't game breaking either. And there's actually a lot of stuff they removed that wasn't even on the list. And that wouldn't be such a huge issue, but 343 did promise that they wouldn't remove stuff that would be fun if it wasn't, as long as it wasn't game breaking or anything like that. As long as people enjoyed it, they'll keep it in. But as we all know by now, that wasn't the case. So for this video, we'll be taking a look at a lot of this fun stuff that 343 removed. So the obvious one that was announced ahead of time was the tank gun. The tank gun was a secret weapon that you could get near the beginning of the game that was, well, a handheld tank gun that shoots scorpion tank rounds. That's been removed. Another thing that's been removed is a God mode glitch that was very useful for speedruns, but also very fun to use for exploring the whole world. With this glitch, you could essentially get a Banshee and fly out of the map and explore some of those unused islands and just see a lot of really interesting stuff out in the world. That's been removed. The glitch to fly pelicans in campaign, also removed. And of course, that was not only was just flying a pelican fun and really cool to do, and was an Easter egg in some previous games, as well as an official feature in campaign in Halo 4, but it was also a useful speedrun trick as well. But that's all been removed, and you can now no longer fly the Pelican anymore. So this will be one of the last few times you'll be able to see the Pelican being flown officially in-game without modding. But aside from those things, like I said, there were also a lot of things that were removed that weren't on the list. A lot of speedrunning tricks. Actually, I'd say a lot of the stuff that's been removed were speedrunning tricks. That door that you could punch open there and skip half of the first mission, removed. Apparently this crate there with the battle rifle, also removed. And continuing from that, this trick here, which you can use a fusion coil to launch yourself up in the air with a grapple shot, also patched and removed. The tank gun really was just the tip of the iceberg, and stuff like that was officially on the list. But it's really a lot more stuff that wasn't on their patch list that was removed. And likewise, another trick here where you can actually skip these these really long FOB cutscenes, also removed. And that's all been patched. You can no longer skip those anymore with that trick. So yeah, it's really unfortunate that all these were removed. And it's 343 said they wouldn't remove anything game breaking, and these really aren't game breaking, so to speak. It's not like your game would crash by doing these. And plus, these were in campaign as well. It's not like the tank gun was somehow in a multiplayer map and players could actually exploit the tank gun and get an unfair advantage in multiplayer. If it was on a multiplayer map, maybe that'd be a lot more reasonable. But this is in campaign. throughout all the previous Halo games, there's always been a lot of like fun tricks people could do in campaign, and even like in Halo 5, fun tricks you do in custom games are Forge, and the 343 was totally okay with that back then. But now, all of a sudden, they're like removing all these fun aspects, like fun little things about Halo Infinite that people actually enjoyed doing in the campaign. So that's, you know, that's all gone now, and there's been a lot of other like odd decisions that were made. Like even some multiplayer balancing updates had to be made to campaign. Weapons were nerfed in campaign, which that kind of makes a little more sense because in Halo 5, changes made to multiplayer often affect the campaign because they would share, you know, resources. So if you change a weapon in multiplayer, because campaign used the multiplayer weapons, that would also get changed. And that seems like it might possibly be the case with Halo Infinite as well, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But unfortunately, some multiplayer customization, some multiplayer tunings did get applied to campaign. I've talked to some people from the speedrunning community, and right now, you know, because a lot of these changes, a lot of these removals and fixes were like heavily targeting speedrun tricks, right now the feeling in the speedrun community and the Halo speedrun community is that, you know, they're obviously not happy about this because this completely destroys every like speedrunning trick in the book, almost every speedrunning trick in the book, and it just, you know, it kind of just takes the fun out of a lot of speedrunning tactics. And the speedrunning community, they right now, a lot of them feel like it's kind of like 343 is almost like intentionally targeting that community specifically, because like I said, a lot of these changes, you know, aside from like the tank gun and stuff like that, which, you know, could also be helpful for some runs, but, you know, it's not just like Easter egg like bugs that were removed. It's entire speedrunning strategies that were removed specifically too. Like a lot of these changes weren't just byproducts of certain patches; they were very specific and targeted changes. So that's why right now the speedrunning community, they're just very unhappy about this right now, and just they feel like this is all like kind of like towards them almost. But we may not really know why 343 specifically chose to patch some of these bugs when they weren't really game breaking in the first place. But, you know, it's not just the campaign community or the speedrunning community that's been generally dissatisfied by a lot of these updates. The multiplayer community has also, you know, suffered a lot too. It's a lot of people often say that, you know, 343 they only cater to the competitive crowd. They only, you know, focus on multiplayer, stuff like that, and then like campaign comes second. But with this latest season 2 update, with all the nerfs and the changes, that's not really the case anymore either. Right now, a lot of pro players out there, a lot of competitive players, they've also been very disappointed by a lot of the changes. So a lot of, again, this goes back to a lot of fun stuff that's been removed, but a lot of trick jumps, a lot of like jump spots and stuff like that, those have all been removed on a lot of maps. They've all been changed. It's, you know, a lot of fun stuff for them, a lot of useful tactics, all removed. And I know, so I'm not really much of a pro player. I barely play Halo Infinite competitively either, so I don't quite know like the difference with this, but I know like sliding, a lot of tricks with sliding have also been significantly nerfed and made like almost impossible now. So that's been another thing that people have been very upset about too. So, you know, with this latest update, every aspect of the community has had some fun aspect, something they loved about the previous update that was removed by 343. Now, I can totally understand if some of, you know, those spots, those tricks, or those bugs were actually game breaking, and like 343 could show us why it was game breaking. Like maybe in multiplayer, I can understand like if there was like some hiding spot that was like completely like unreachable for most people, and it gave like a totally unfair advantage, then, you know, I could understand a little bit more. But still, a lot of these things, it's really hard to like justify, like from our perspective. We don't really know like if there were like bigger issues, you know, that those bugs might have been causing that required their removal. You know, 343 had said like, I've seen some theories from people saying that 343 had to remove like the tank gun because it messed with their work for co-op play or with mission select and stuff like that. If that was the case, then that's probably more understandable. But we weren't given any reason why. It's just they just said like these were all being removed. So that's why it just seems like they removed it for the sake of removing them to almost to prevent us from having fun. But assuming there weren't like any overarching issues with these bugs, then my personal opinion is that 343 should just bring them back. It's a lot of them were just simple pure fun. That's it. They weren't game breaking. They didn't crash the game or anything. They didn't corrupt the game or anything like that. They were just there. They worked and they were fun. So it's that would be that's pretty much the only feedback I can provide with this. It's without knowing like if there were other reasons for removing these things. All I can say is like I think the community would like it a lot if these were brought back. Simple as that, really. If some of them did cause bugs, then that's understandable that they had to be removed. But if they were just removed for the sake of removing it, I really don't think that should. I don't think campaign should be touched much at all. If it's not game breaking, if it doesn't crash, if it doesn't break progression and stuff like that, I feel like they should just leave it the way it is. They should bring all that back, and going forward, they should only fix actual like crashing bugs and stuff like that. So that's where I stand on the issue. I would definitely like to hear everyone else's thoughts on this. Do you think it's fine that 343 removed these? Like, do you think they made the right decision, or do you think they should bring some of these back, or at the very least, do you think they should explain like why some of these were removed? Just let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But aside from that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, found it to be interesting. If you did, make sure to leave a like. And like I said, I would definitely like to hear all your thoughts on this in the comments down below. But aside from that, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.